Can you find motivated sellers right now on Facebook ads without spending a ton of money, without having a really complicated technical mumbo jumbo infrastructure, and most importantly, without having to pay an arm and a leg for these seller leads? Well, I'm here to share with you exactly what we're doing, including how little we're paying for leads, show you the entire way that we're collecting all of this inside of Facebook. And then that way you can determine for yourself if this might be a viable strategy for you. Because it finally might get you away from cold calling, get you away from the agencies, and get you away from paying really expensive paper lead companies for their leads. So without further ado, let me go ahead and show you. So this is the simplest, easiest way right now to get started with finding motivated sellers online. And there's a couple things about this particular model that before I go through all these individual pieces, we want to make sure that we are all on the same page for. Now, number one is that this is going to be doing deals nationwide. Now, there's two ways to do this. One is you can go ahead and target the whole USA, and then that's one option. Option number two is for you to target states. And typically what we're doing is we're targeting somewhere around 15 or so states. Now, this pretty much depends on your budget. If you've got a low budget, and I'll show you what that looks like here, of say $20 a day, which is about $600 per month, then you're really needing to go with the nationwide, especially if you're brand new. Because if you're brand new as a beginner, then you need repetitions, you need reps. By reps, meaning that you need to have lots of conversations with sellers, so lots of combos with sellers. And you need practice in learning how to analyze deals and just getting better at all of that and making offers. So because of that, if you're on a tight budget, then you're going to need $20 a day. And I'll show you what those numbers look like in a sample ad account here. Now, if you are at a low budget, but you're somewhat experienced, or, for here to do the states, either you're going to be somewhat experienced because your cost per lead is going to be higher here, or if you're going to do states, then it's better for you to spend a little bit more money, and I'm talking about $30 to $35 a day. So this is based on a nationwide model. So these are the two different ways that we can target nationwide, and for the most part, you're also doing everything 100% virtual. So we're never physically inspecting any of the deals or doing anything physical in nature. And then also, as I mentioned before, this is what's called the sifting and sorting model. Meaning that when you're running ads like this, you're going to get a lot of lead flow, but not every lead is going to be a great lead, which is okay. And I'll show you in a second because you're not paying that much per lead. So that's big picture. We want to make sure that we're on. So predominantly, obviously, we're using Facebook ads for motivated sellers. You could use Google. However, Google requires a much bigger budget. And if you're on a tight budget or starting out brand new, I don't recommend it. They're going to take your money. And unless you had, 10, 15 grand to spend on testing and tweaking those campaigns on Google, then highly recommend Facebook. Here's an example of a campaign that we're currently running. So you can see here, there's a couple of things I want to make sure that you understand. Number one is this is the budget, $20 a day. This campaign they received 25 leads, but notice the cost per lead. Cost per lead is $13. So they spent $345 to get 25 leads at $13. Now this is very significantly less than you would pay if you're buying leads from a paper lead company. Typically, if you're buying leads from paper lead companies, you are spending somewhere around $50 to $75 for nationwide leads, but they're not going to be great leads because you're really getting the access of the leads that nobody else wants. So you're getting the hand-me-down leads, the turds that nobody else wants. Here you have an equal opportunity to get great leads, but you're also going to get leads that are just going to be in the middle of nowhere, not a big deal. But when you're paying $13 a lead, it's not that big of a deal. I'll give you an example because people always ask, how does that lead flow look like? So here you can see this is the days of the week. So this campaign, for the snapshot that I took here, starts off on the 19th and then goes up current to the 26th, which is today. So this is at $20 a day, and you can see the lead flow. Some days I had 2 leads, another day just 1 lead, some days I had 0, another day 2. So that's what you're going to see. Now, if your budget was, say, instead of $25, let's say it was $35 a day, then these numbers would just increase. So you might, the ones here might be 2s, and then you'll have days where you have 3 or 4 leads, etc. So that's just, in essence, how it works. And as these come in, then you're going to get these leads. Now, so again, very affordable. And also, if you have a full-time job and you're not able to do this, you don't have a whole bunch of time, then this is a good lead flow to just have coming in. But again, you can increase your budget to 35 and get more of them. By the way, if you are interested in having my team set up this entire thing for you, not only that, but there's an option for us to even help you analyze the deals and the leads that come in through. And most importantly, once you have a property in the contract, we can help sell that deal for you. We'll take care of everything. All you do is focus on talking to more sellers and getting even more deals done. If that's of interest to you, go ahead and make sure to click the link in the description. So let's talk about how this works. So now our ads are a mix of images and also videos as well. You can see here, there's 3 videos here. Generally speaking, the videos this one has 3 videos. Most of the time we're just using 2 videos. And one video talks directly to inherited homeowners. And then this one typically would be more repairs and general, hey, do you have a property you don't want to sell, you don't want to list it, etc. So typically we have 2 types of videos. We generally don't have 3. And then we have images. If you could tell here, the images, they're catchy, they're ugly, they're meant to just grab somebody's attention, stop the scroll. And then we have ad copy. So if you notice the ad copy here, hey, property owners tired of the headaches that come with selling your property, talk about the benefits. And then also we include, we have more than one primary ad copy here. I'm just giving you one as an example. And then we have the various headlines here. Now, when they click on the ad, we use Facebook's internal lead form system in order to grab the customer's information so that we can then reach out to them. So they see this here. And then these are the questions that we ask them. What type of property it is? Is the property listed with an agent? The reasons for wanting to sell? Who's living at the property? The location. Now, in Facebook, they're finicky. They don't like you to ask for the property address on the lead form. So what you can do is just say the word location, and then that will help in eliminating that, being able to ask for the address. Asking price. Now here's the thing, I want to make sure that I talk to you guys about this, because like we have one of our clients actually is closing on a deal, hopefully the next couple days, where the seller was asking initially $70,000, and he was able to get that deal reduced to $15K. So the asking price is really more of us identifying the crazy lunatic sellers, or rather the ones that are could be completely unreasonable and just want full market value for the property. However, a lot of times we have to disregard that number and still make the offer that is the right offer to make on the deal. And so you always want to be mindful of that. The sellers, they're filling out a form. They don't, they're holding the cards tight to them, and so they don't want to reveal a lot of information. But this is an example of a deal that significantly less was placed on the contract for significantly less than what they were asking for. I mean, this happens all the time, so just keep that in mind. And then also, this is something that is that we're doing because of the new law that's coming out. And by the way, for all this, I'll tell you in a second. So we on the form, before they fill out the rest of the information, they have to say that they're okay with them receiving information. But we also put in specifically, it would either be your name or your company's name on the form, so that they're giving specific permission to you and only you to reach out to them. This is very important. This is an issue with a lot of the pay-per-lead companies where they sell you leads in bulk. They're not going to be able to do that in the coming year because of the new law. And the new law requires a one-to-one consent, meaning that the customer is agreeing only to get information and or get contacted only by whoever's listed on the form here. Now, once the form is submitted, we use a application called Zapier.com. Zapier.com is a very common program software that connects a lot of things on the internet. Zapier.com. They have different plans. You can get the $20 plan per month, and they do have another plan that's a little bit more. It works faster, meaning that here you might have a delay of, could be 5-10 minutes to get the lead. Here it's within 1 minute if you get for the upgraded plan. But if you're on a tight budget, I think the upgraded plan is $50 a month. You can go with this one. It's not going to be a deal breaker for you. Now, what happens after the lead is submitted? We set clients up with Trello boards. They're very simple, not complicated. You can go down the rabbit hole of a bunch of different types of CRMs and all these automations. And at the end of the day, you just got to pick up the phone and call these people. And so this is how the board is laid out. The new leads come in here. And then what you do is, as you work the lead, and these are all blurred out because they're actual leads, then you move them over. So let's say you had a conversation with a lead, and or you looked at the lead, and now you're going to call them. You need more information. You can put a card here that says priority as an example. I have a video on how to use Trello on my channel. You can look for it. And then here, for example, a few were identified that people are asking pretty close to retail price. However, I would still call these people. For like the retail price people, I would still call. And with regards to the call, I would say be concise on the call, get right to the root of the issue when it comes to price. Meaning, by that I mean, let's say that if Zillow says that the property is worth 200 and then their asking price is 200 or it could be 225, you need to talk about this right away on the call and then figure out if they're going to be a deal or not a deal or even remotely motivated. This comes down to motivation. And if they're not, then you need to get off the phone as quickly as possible. Now, in terms of a website, we don't need a website. We're not sending traffic from Facebook here on the from Facebook ads here. We're not sending them to the website, but you should have a website. You should have a website for the purposes of credibility. So when you talk with the sellers, you're going to say, hey, this is Cris with National Property Buyer. You filled out a form asking to get an offer on your property. And so then therefore, just the fact that you have a website gives you credibility. You should also have a domain that is easy for somebody to know right away what you do. So let's say that your company was called EB Holdings, as an example, and just making that up. You wouldn't want your domain name to be EB Holdings, because you would call somebody and say, hey, this is Cris with ebholdings.com. And they would say, well, what is that? I don't know what that means. So you want a domain that articulates to the property owner what you do. So it could be sell, house, easy. Now, you're not going to find that domain in a .com. So what you're likely to do is you're going to look for .io, .net, just something. More important is how it sounds, not this here. So you would say, hey, this is sellhouseeasytoday.io. And they would understand, okay, got it. I'm here to talk to you about selling my property. And so this here is our exact funnel structure for us to be able to get high quality leads on Facebook nationwide or across a variety of different states, and that produce results for our clients. And again, when all said and done, you have to understand that with this, along with every other strategy that you might be implementing, it's a numbers game. Always keep that in mind. And the question that comes up for people is how long to get a deal. But however, the problem with this is not a good question. The proper question to ask is how many leads to get a deal. Now, this very much depends on a variety of different factors. What does this depend on? Skill, a little bit of luck, okay? And by skill, meaning sales, property analysis, and by luck, meaning that it's a numbers game. So let's say you are at 0 leads right here, and this is a continuum. And let's say that this is 100 leads. Let's say there's 100 leads, this is 0 leads. And let's say that I tell you that on average, it would take 50 leads for you to get a deal. Now, 50 leads at what you just saw there with that campaign was $10 a lead. But let's just say that you're doing it online, you're doing it nationwide, and it's $15 a lead, right? So 15 times 50 is about $750 right now that you're spending. Now, if your budget, let's say on a $600 a month budget, which is $20 a day, I'm doing it too fast, maybe. Oh, it lags. $20 a day. That's about 30 leads, which is somewhere around here. So then now, if you're only, and let's say that, so now part of this is if you're only spending this, and it's going to take 50 leads to get a deal, then this is month 1, which means that you're not going to get a deal in month 1. You're going to get a deal in somewhere on month 2, right? Because if this is month 1, you do 30 leads, and then this is somewhere around month number 2, here is another, say, 60 leads. So theoretically, you would get a deal somewhere here. Now, if you were to spend more money, and now instead of the 30 leads here, you end up getting 50 leads, now your chances of getting a deal increase because you have more leads to work with. The other thing to consider is that in a continuum of getting, say, an average of 50 leads in order to get a deal, you might get really lucky and lead number 5 is a great lead. So that ends up being a deal for you. It could be that, again, this is a law of average. Maybe it could be that you get a deal on lead number 60 and lead number 75. Now, in this scenario, you had a little bit of bad luck because all these leads that came in on this side of the equation were not that great. And so then now, this is a problem for most because this is where people will go ahead and give up. And they'll say, oh, this doesn't work. I'm not getting the traction I need. It just, keep in mind is that whenever somebody tells you, on average, it takes 50 leads to get a deal, that's across a sampling of hundreds and hundreds of leads. So that means that you could be on either side of this equation. So part of this is understanding that there's a numbers equation that we're following, and that if you're going to do this, you're looking at it from the perspective of what is the goal. The goal for implementing a system like this, okay, is going to be, I would think, a 3 to 4 month goal of spending a certain amount of money per month. So let's say $600 a month times 4 months is equal to $2,400 that you're spending. And then that $2,400 is going to get you approximately 160 leads. Now, is it possible that if you are great at sales, or you improve your sales ability, you are good at and or improve your property analysis, and that you are great at follow-up, is it possible that if you get 160 leads, and if you do what you're supposed to do, that you will end up making money at the end? And so then when you look at this, the probability, that nobody can ever give you a guarantee, but the probability here is quite high versus if you just were to start on month 1 and only get 30 leads, and that would be your analysis of the situation, whether or not it would be successful or not, then you're cutting yourself off. I believe that this model is the ultimate real estate lifestyle business because there's no cold calling, you're in complete control of your business, and you're just talking to warm incoming leads. In fact, I just did a video on that concept. Watch it here or there, and that way you can see if in fact this just might be the real estate business that you've been looking for.